to continue the conversation like we always do. Well, today, just as we always do here on the show, we'll start with the newspaper review segment, where we look at stories that made front page this morning. Move on from there to join Dr. James Komolafe, our own Dr. James Komolafe, who always gives us those very important and interesting holistic well-being tips. He takes us from mental to emotional and even spiritual tips, like he always says. After that would be our first interview. We would be celebrating Africa's heritage, the beauty of Africa's heritage, the diversity in our cultures, what makes us the resilient continent that we are. How can we unite better, especially through cakes? That's what we'll be discussing. And then our Investment Plus segment would not be left out, as usual. We'll be getting those daily financial management tips, those tips that keeps us going by. Here you get to learn how to save your monies, where to invest, how many investments are good enough, and all those financial tips. Promises to be very interesting. Stay with us as we go for this short break. We'll return to get to the crux of the matter, newspaper review segment.
The challenge of Nigeria as a free state in 20th century Africa is the need to revive the stature of man in Africa and restore the dignity of man in the world. Nigerians believe passionately in the fundamental human rights. We regard all races of the human family as equal. Under no circumstance shall we accept the idea that the black race is inferior to any other race. I appeal to all our leaders, far and near, to forget the wounds which were inflicted in cause of our internecine altercation. The love of our country should outweigh the love of our pedestals. The enjoyment of individual freedom under the law should mean more to us than our self-centered party programs and manifestos. Common dangers and common enemies alert us on the need for common security. Come and join Abubakar with me, Sadauna, Awolowo, Akitola, Ofarebe, Okpara, Ikoku, Aminu Kano, Ibrahim Imam, and Tata. Let us bind the nation's wound and let us heal the breaches of the past, so that in forging our nation, there shall emerge on this continent a hate-free, fear-free, and greed-free people who shall be in the vanguard of a world task force whose assignment is not only to revive the stature of man in Africa, but to restore the dignity of man in the world.
Welcome back from that very short break. Well, it's time for the newspaper review segment this morning, and we would be kick-starting this segment with the Matrix newspaper. I will be doing this review with you, as we do not have a resource person at the moment. I hope I do justice to the front page this morning. Well, we'll start with the Matrix newspaper this morning, and it's taking us back to Rivers State. It seems like Rivers State has been in the news for all the wrong reasons. Well, according to the Matrix newspaper, it phrases it as Rivers local government crisis, Tinubu wades in. And the writers here says, orders pleased to provide security to local government offices amid arson. I'm appealing to everyone, to Wike, my oga, there is no need to destroy rivers, Fubara is saying. I'm appealing to everyone, to Wike, my oga, there is no need to destroy rivers, Fubara is saying. IGP React says police acted in line with court order. IGP React says police acted in line with court order. I mean, for some of us who followed what happened in the process, I'm not sure if the court had asked the security agents not to provide security for the state. I know that it was they pulled away during elections, but this mayhem that perpetrators are causing is after the elections. So I think the IGP, the police, should go back to work. Elections are over, and we are unfortunately facing post-election crisis. I think it's time for the IGP to bring back his men and ensure the place is safe. Federal government eyes stronger private sector synergy for economic growth. Says partnership with NESG will unlock Nigeria's economic potential. CJN assures EFCC, ICPC, others of judiciary's support in fight against corruption. 6 years after, Dino Melaye floors federal government IG in court. Above the masthead of the Matrix newspaper this morning, Agora policy calls for review of PIA amid dwindling NNPC limited revenue to federal government. Nigeria records 359 cholera deaths in 2024, and CDC is saying Nigeria records 359 cholera deaths. NNPC Limited no longer sole off-taker of Dangote refinery product, reports are saying. Court reduces bail for end bad governance protesters to 5 million. You may recall that that bail amount was as much as 10 million per protester, or per, I don't know, 10 million naira was what was initially slapped on them, but it has been reduced to 5 million. A lot of people still are weary. Is this to disencourage or protest in the country? A lot. It's quite sad. However, nobody is saying that protest must resolve to the violence we see, the conflicts that often come out of our protests. But I'm sure we can do better in our protests, and maybe 5 million is still really high. With that, we move on to the Daily News Hub newspaper this morning. Rivers Day of Rage. Rivers Day of Rage. That's the screaming headline that the Daily News Hub has right here. And the riders under that is protest, gunshots, explosion, rock local government areas as new chairmen resume. Protest, gunshots, explosion, rock local government as new chairmen resume. After police withdrawal, thugs unleash violence, one feared dead. After police withdrawal, thugs unleash violence, one feared death. 3 council secretariats set ablaze. Police aloof as thugs unleash violence. Rivers crisis. Tinubu waits in, orders police to intervene. Directs force to secure public facilities, restore, maintain peace, law and order immediately. President advises Fubara others to settle dispute in court. Go to court, the president has said. Right beside the masthead of the Daily News Hub newspaper this morning, Rivers crisis, it says Fubara unfair to us. Police is saying that Fubara unfair to us. Says IGP Agbetokun, well respected, sought after globally. Fubara unfair to us. Rivers crisis, fight between evil, good, truth, lies. Clark is saying. Urges feuding leaders to put the past behind. Dangote refinery to get 400,000 barrels of crude daily as Naira for crude deal begins. Rivers crisis, allow Fubara to work, but the judge tells Wike. Video evidence contradicts Akwa Ibom electoral body, shows PDP won Akpabio's LG elections, local government area election, as Governor Eno swears in newly elected local government chairman. NUJ court set to hear alleged serial breaches of constitution by Chris Iziguzo-led CWC. I paid 5 million upfront to the senior advocate for pardon, Bobrisky claims. I paid 5 million upfront to a senior advocate of Nigeria for pardon. Police foil attempts to abduct foreigner in Anambra. And the footer of the newspaper this morning says, unpaid salaries, 84 lecturers die in 3 months. Aso is saying, unpaid salaries, 84 lecturers die in 3 months. With that, we move on now to the Daily Times newspaper this morning, and the Daily Times is leading with the story, Tinubu to judiciary. Anti-graft war won't be won by technicalities, frivolous appeals. Anti-graft war won't be won by technicalities, frivolous appeals. Restates federal government's commitment to creating right environment for judicial officers to discharge their responsibilities. Lists student loan fund consumer credit scheme as federal government strategic initiatives to curb corruption. Lists student loan fund consumer credit scheme as federal government strategic initiatives to curb corruption. Well, to get more story on that, go to page 2 of the newspaper. How the federal government's student loan fund consumer credit scheme is a strategy or an initiative to curb corruption. Rivers, allow Fubara to work, Bode George tells Wike, says any threat to peace in Rivers would eventually lead to huge security implications for Nigeria, West Africa, and Africa. At the footer of this newspaper, that's the Daily Times newspaper this morning, Tinubu decries violence in Rivers, directs police to provide security to local government officers. NAFDAC, SON, others harmonize position on Codex food labeling standards. Federal government launches CNG tricycle portal for youth participation. CNG tricycle portal for youth participation. NEMA DG urges adoption of modern technologies for emergency management. And above the nameplate of the Daily Times newspaper, it says Shetima seeks stronger federal government, private sector synergy for economic growth. And now we move on to the Punch newspaper this morning. The Punch newspaper, so speaking about the Naira for crude deal that a lot of us have been celebrating, speaking about how this would reduce the pressures on our Naira. Federal government panel proposes 6 months supply for Dangote refineries. Refinery to get 24 million barrels in 2 months. Fresh concerns over NNPCL sole petrol buyers' role. Fresh concerns over NNPCL sole petrol buyers' role. I thought we settled that, where we talked about NNPC no longer sole off-taker of Dangote refineries. Well, here the Punch says fresh concerns over NNPCL petrol buyers' role, sole petrol buyers' role. Well, to clarify that, it's on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. You can get the story to learn more. Oando, 2 foreign firms shortlisted to buy Trinidad's national refinery. Lagos begins trial of 2 doctors over patient's death. Nigerians in Lebanon fault federal government over evacuation plan. We read about this yesterday. According to the federal government, out of 2,000 people in Lebanon around the conflict zone, only 500 are willing to come back or to return to the country, to return to safety. There's a counterclaim here. The resident, the Nigerians in Lebanon, is saying evacuate us already. That claim is wrong. Who is telling the truth? Well, you make up your mind. That story is on page 27 of the Punch newspaper. Nigerians in Lebanon fault federal government over evacuation claims. Fubara's camp proposes emergency rule as 3 killed. Secretariat raised. Tinubu warns against anarchy, PDP governors clerk back Fubara. 2027, Obi Kwankwaso alliance proposal will fail, says APC. Obi Kwankwaso alliance proposal will fail, says the APC. Federal government lists 7 states for mpox vaccination, and that's it for the Punch newspaper this morning. We would at this moment quickly move on to the first newspaper this morning. Still speaking about, still spotlighting what's going on in Rivers State. It says, Fubara to Wike, let's go for peace sake. Let's go for peace sake. You can't win every fight. That's what the governor of Rivers State is saying to his predecessor. You can't win every fight. Is that in some way insinuating that the crisis, that the raising of local government secretariat, the violence that has erupted is somewhat linked to the FCT minister? Well, that story is on the page 5 of the first newspaper right here. It says, Fubara to Wike, let's go for peace sake. You can't win every fight. That's a huge accusation. In some climes, somebody would be in jail if you are accusing another of this heinous act. Some of the papers reported that as many as 3 people died from this. Properties are being destroyed, state-owned properties. These are properties that will eventually be replaced by people's taxes. And so, yes, it is a criminal offense if you instigate that kind of uproar by the public. So, yes, it should be taken seriously. Does the governor have any intel or any evidence to prove that the FCT minister is behind these attacks? I know during when he was inaugurating this local government chairman on Sunday, just 24 hours after they were elected, I remember the governor also alleged that at that very moment, people were being mobilized to cause conflict. And today he's saying, let Wike let go, and for peace sake, that he must not win every fight. So, okay, we have to take these words like that. It's Nigeria. Very often we do not pursue very important issues like this, but I feel like, so for deterrence sake, we cannot have that state so volatile. The state is very, very important economically to Nigeria. We cannot afford to have any human being pass away, die just because. And the dance between the governor and the police force is another unfortunate turn of events right there. Beside the nameplate of the newspaper, Aso reveals tragic toll. 84 lecturers die in 3 months. 84 is what the first news says right here. 84 lecturers die. That is very unfortunate. But you can imagine the inflation that's biting hard on Nigerians. Just imagine for a moment how bad it will be if you're not paid for so long. It is possible that you would you would fall ill, you'll be unable to care for yourself like you should have, and pass away. There are several things that could go wrong, and that's why every worker needs his pay. Aso reveals tragic toll. 84 lecturers died in 3 months amid unpaid salaries and hardship. Okay, right below the masthead, it says, Bobrisky drops bombshell in new leaked tape. My godfather gave me 5 million to pay the senior advocate of Nigeria for pardon. Game-changing naira for crude deal begins. Dangote refinery set for 400,000 barrels daily. I hope with this we would see that relief that we need so badly. The availability and the slight reduction. I know it might not be 180 per liter like we were paying a couple of months, maybe a bit more than a year ago, but it would be nice to have the relief just anything that it would relieve Nigerians. It's becoming tougher. So 400,000 barrels, I guess it's something, but we just hope that it would help with the availability of PMS. You can just drive into a fuel station and just buy and move and not have to spend productive hours queuing for fuel. Men can also have breast cancer. Men can also have breast cancer. Please take this seriously. The UITHCMD is saying NAFDAC workers begin indefinite strike over neglected welfare, unaddressed grievances. NAFDAC workers begin indefinite strike. It is bad enough as it is that we are seeing products that are not good for consumption. I mean, we're seeing a lot of counterfeit product, diluted product, some of them made from the most unhygienic environment. To have NAFDAC workers join this long list of strikers, it is really sad. Something indeed has to be done. Falana alleges violent intimidation. They threaten to set my office ablaze if I sue VDM. That's what Falana is saying. Tinubu directs IG to restore peace, security in Rivers State. As violent clashes in state leaves five feared dead. 5 feared dead. We had earlier read 3 confirmed dead. Now there's a possibility this number could have gotten to 5. All for what, I ask? Trump sparks controversy, claims immigrants bringing bad genes to the US. I remember he recently trended for that comment about them killing the pets and killing and eating pets. That trended for a while. Now he's saying immigrants are bringing bad genes. Whatever could he mean by that? Well, pick up the First News newspaper and find out. To the Vanguard newspaper this morning, Rivers, 5 killed, local government headquarters set ablaze, chairman chased out. 5 killed, local government headquarters set ablaze, chairman chased out. As Tinubu directs police to provide local government officers security. Burning of council facility, act of irresponsibility, Fubara is saying. Tells Wike you can't win all fights. Inspect Ikore local government secretariat. Police murmur over attacks. IGP withdraws personnel. Crisis may have security implication on Nigeria. Bode George is saying that. Labour Party vows to challenge polls in court. Clark hails Tinubu Fubara on peaceful local government polls. Stakeholders condemn violence, killings in Rivers State. Action barbaric cowardice, says Emeka Beke. Work resumes in all secretariats, APP chair is saying. We are victims of attack, says pro-Wike APC. Pro-Wike APC. I would always marvel at the peculiarities of the Rivers State political atmosphere. It's interesting. There's a pro-Wike in APC. There's a pro-Wike in PDP. Wike is of the PDP, but is sympathetic to the APC. Fubara is of the PDP, but is sympathetic to the APP, apparently. That we didn't even have a clue about, but it is what it is. So, very interesting. The House of Assembly, I'm not sure where they are. I remember when they declared being members of the APC having defected, and then somebody pointed the constitution back to them, they will have to lose their seats, and they said no, it was just a charade, we hadn't really moved, we have no party membership of that political party. So Nigerians are kept wondering, this House of Assembly, are they APC or PDP? And autonomy, don't give workers salaries to local government, Labour begs federal government. Don't give workers salaries to local government areas. Labour begs federal government. Tinubu committed to food security, Vice President Shettima is saying. With that, we quickly move on now to the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Still talking about Rivers crisis, the Daily Trust is saying Rivers crisis escalates. 4 local government secretariats burnt. Tinubu directs IGP to restore order. My meekness, not weakness, Fubara is saying. My meekness is not weakness. Okay, that story is on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Moving on from that, we are taking steps to address insecurity, disunity in the north. Arewa Consultative Forum is saying cholera kills 7 in Kanu. Oh wow. FCT primary school teachers suspend strike. At last, FCT primary school teachers suspend strike. Hajj fare to hit 10 million naira as federal government stops subsidy. Hajj fare to hit 10 million naira as federal government stops subsidy. Dangote refinery, Nigerians may pay more for petrol as NNPC quits middleman role. Nigerians may pay more for petrol as NNPC quits middleman role. Middle East tension to spark higher fuel costs. 400,000 barrels per day for Dangote is naira for crude deal as naira for crude deal begins. Below the masthead of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, Tinubu releases 1,200 fertilizer bags to each senator, 600 to House of Rep members. Bandits kill 8 Zamfara community guards. Sharia court defends Senator Buba against politically motivated attacks. And the Daily Trust this morning has a picture of a very, very sad picture of Khan Yunis in Gaza. Destroyed buildings in Khan Yunis in the southern Gaza Strip on the first anniversary of the ongoing war in Palestine territory between Israel and Hamas. Okay, that's where we leave the Daily Trust for the New Telegraph newspaper this morning. The New Telegraph newspaper, you can't win or fight. Let go of Rivers. We need peace. Fubara tells Wike. You can't win or fight. Let go of Rivers. We need peace. Fubara tells Wike. De-escalate tension in the state. Tinubu tells governor, stakeholders. Direct police to restore and maintain peace. Intervene to forestall repeat of 1962 Western Region crisis, Bodejo tells the president. Hoodlums set Ikwere Eleme local government areas ablaze. Councillors in attacked councils hold first legislative assembly seating. Tinubu to judiciary. We can't win anti-graft war with technicalities, frivolous appeals. Abbas urges judges to prosecute all corrupt people. That's interesting. Nigeria has recorded 54 new suspected mpox cases. NCDC is saying INEC should re-examine police deployment during elections. Edwin Clark has just said that federal government designates Air Peace Caverton to Brazil as both nations initiate direct flight operations. Be transparent about 30 trillion naira debt clearance. PRP tells Tinubu, urges the National Assembly to probe debt swap. Edo Guba petition. APC INEC obstructing course of justice. PDP alleges. Release timetable for 2024 zonal congresses. And finally, on the New Telegraph newspaper above the masthead, we have here NIPSS Cashless policy boosts POS deployment by 32.3% to record 3.05 million. We move on now to the Guardian newspaper this morning. The Guardian newspaper says state of emergency stalks rivers as political thugs attack councils. Now to the Guardian newspaper. State of emergency stalks rivers as political thugs attack council. Anti-graft war won't be won by technicalities, declares Tinubu. Anti-graft war won't be won by technicalities, declared Tinubu. Worries over petrol price as Tinubu deregulates downstream sector. NAFDAC champions food labeling standards as workers comment indefinite strike. Police arrest Aregbeshola's loyalists for accusing Oyetola of using palliative rice as birthday gifts. Reviving comatose technical education beyond enrollment drive. 80% of Africans unhappy with delivery of democratic rule, says Akinkerekun. Court reduces bail of 5 end governance protesters to 5 million naira each. We move on now to the Nigerian News Direct newspaper this morning. Frivolous appeals, technicalities undermining anti-corruption efforts, Tinubu is saying. Frivolous appeals, technicalities undermining anti-corruption efforts. That's coming from the president. And the writers under that story says calls for urgent judicial reforms to combat corruption in Nigeria as CJN Kekerekun harps on collaboration between judiciary anti-graft agency. NLNG celebrates journalists with awards for over 20 years of reporting. 84 lecturers died in 3 months over unpaid salaries. Sanwo-Olu is committed to food security, commissioner is saying. How shortened contracting cycle is fostering increased investment in the oil sector. That's coming from the NCDMB, that's the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board. Police unseal Rivers councils as arsonists set Eleme Ikwere secretariat ablaze. Quickly now to the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Rivers burns. Wow, I like the play on words there. Rivers burns. And the writers under that says Tinubu orders police to restore peace. Order as hoodlums set 3 local government secretariats ablaze. Violence shootings erupt hours after IGP withdraws policemen from secretariat. Call Wike to order he should let Fubara breathe, Bode George advises Tinubu. INEC wants president to pay special attention to Rivers politics. Wike should let go, Fubara says. Don't give our salaries to federal government, to local government. Unions tell federal government, demand funds be made first line charge. Don't give our salaries to local governments. Unions tell federal government, demand funds be made first line charge. Kogi governor approves 72,500 naira minimum wage. Okay. Withheld result affected candidates to no faith on Thursday. That's coming from WAEC. NAFDAC workers embark on strike. Edo poll, APC supporters storm INEC office as court grants PDP right to inspect election material. Above the masthead of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning, court restrictions impede EFCC investigations in 10 states. Olukoyede is saying Nigerians await clarity as NNPC quits as middleman in Dangote petrol purchase. Ibadan will be headquarters of proposed Southwest Development Commission. Senate leader is saying, says president to sign bill into law after vacation. We now move on to the Daily Independent newspaper this morning. Rivers local government poll. Tinubu warns angry parties against self-help. Rivers local government poll. Tinubu warns angry parties against self-help. Okay, and the writers here says, ask aggrieved parties from fomenting trouble, okay, to go to court. Task security operatives to bring situation under control. 3 killed, 3 local government secretariats set ablaze, violence spread. Fubara condemns burning of secretariats, fingers weakest loyalists. Rivers CJ inaugurates election petition, appeal tribunals. Public-private sector synergy, way to overcome economic woes. That's coming from the federal government, says reduction in post-harvest losses key to food security. Edo Guber poll. Tribunal orders INEC to grant Igodalo PDP access to inspect materials. Dangote refinery would propel Africa out of poverty. That's Ibn Chambers is saying. Don't give our salaries to local government, union tells federal government. Demand funds to be made first line charge on the federal location. Okay. Just above the masthead of the Daily Independent newspaper, Anyaku calls for change in tactics of fighting corruption. Tinubu not averse to food security in Nigeria, Shetima is saying. And that is the much we can take on today's edition of the newspaper review segment. As I told you earlier, it's time for Dr. James Komolafe, who will give us those very important holistic well-being tips. We'll be back after that with our first interview. So stay tuned. Promises to be very interesting.
Hi out there, good to meet you today. Welcome to the show. James Komolafe from Saba Resources Intervention Hub. And on this series, we're talking about sudden collapses. What are sudden collapses? Why sudden collapses? One issue so prevalent among the high, the mighty, the low, the poor, and the rich. Greetings from Saba Resources Intervention Hub, your one-stop behavioral hub for the virile health, full expression, for optimal productivity, where we check you neck up to be sure you are good neck down. Sudden collapses, what to look for before sudden collapses. You say, doctor, why sudden collapses? Is there anything called sudden collapses? Well, people out there will call it sudden collapses simply because they don't know all the protocols and the bad procedures that have taken its toll on the inside before it becomes a collapse outside. Now, when you drive a car, and you discover a red light suddenly on your dash light, what do? All things being equal, you either park to check what is the reason for this red light or the red alert. It is a sign of danger. It is to tell you that something goes the wrong order with your car. But if you ignore it and say, well, no problem, I can still drive on, a time will come, the car will stop you by force since you choose not to stop. So sudden collapses are evident when you don't give attention to some certain signals that you are experiencing within you and around you. When you begin to break your personal lifestyle protocol as an individual, when you don't give attention to your triggers, to issues that could cause you some calamities there as a person. As individual collapse, so we have organizational collapses. And you see, nothing happens by chance. It is not even sudden. It takes a procedure on a negative note happening over a repeated time, especially in the bad and in the ugly order. So that is why prevention is better than cure. And before I'm done today, I want to show you 7 critical areas where you need to look out for before you have the eventual collapse on the outside as an individual and even as an organization. So it is a violation from your original self. When you violate yourself, your lifestyle protocol, your healthy protocol, healthy lifestyle and practices, then you are walking on a bad path that could lead to sudden collapses. When you lift and shift away from your defined self into your deviated self, then you will be treading on a bad route. So these are the 7 areas I want you to look at for sudden collapses. 1 is lifestyle collapses. How do you live? The way you live determines how well and how strong you are each passing day. As you build energy and burn energy, how do you live? Then we're looking at processes collapse. What are the processes and procedures around your life? We're looking at relationship. Are you able to build relationship, or you find yourself in a relationship that is collapsing? How about responsibility? Are you being able to match your energy right, given your ability, what you have, your reality, the condition around you, and the activity that you produce? Are you able to find correlation in the 3 of them? And how about lifespan collapses? These are the days where you just hear suddenly after a brief illness and the individual is no more. And when all these collapses are happening on the outside, you hear of kidney collapses. You hear of collapses into high blood pressure. What have we done in Saba Resources to help society cope, to help individuals, families, and organizations cope? We have a reality check you can run hands-on to be sure you are on tap with your life. Hear me. It's time to walk away from that dangerous path that leads to sudden collapses. It can be averted, it can be avoided through conscious knowledge. I and my critical team are hands-on. Call my number today, Dr. Komolafe, on +234 8035 999 220, and we will be at your beck and call. We have free incentives for you to even check yourself neck up to be sure you are good neck down. Wow. I hope you got value today. Thank you so very much, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
It's here again. The International Cake Exploration Society, ICES Nigeria, present the annual Nigeria Cake Expo, theme The Beauty of Africa, featuring cake displays, classes, cake competition, networking, discounted sales of products, state parade, lots of freebies, and a tourist visit to the middle of Nigeria. Date Wednesday 9th and Thursday 10th October 2024. Time 9 a.m. daily. Venue Peachvine Event Center, Wuye, Abuja. Entry fee regular 15,000 naira, VIP 20,000 naira. For enquiries, call Chidima on 080-3316-1012 and Nike on 080-5521-3351. Come and experience the beauty of Africa. It's here again. The International Cake Exploration Society, ICES Nigeria, present the annual Nigeria Cake Expo. Theme, the beauty of Africa, featuring cake displays,
Welcome back from that. I hope you enjoyed Dr. James Komolafe, who gave us those very important holistic tips. But we are moving on now to discuss something exciting for some of us who like pastry, who like especially cakes. How can we develop this talent? I mean, when we record so many increasing numbers as it is, I'm not even sure the right number of unemployment rate in Nigeria, you tell yourself, but there are several things people can do, several opportunities and skills young people especially can learn. Well, and how can we use these crafts, this skill of cake and the baking in projecting the African culture? That's what we'll be discussing. In the studio right here is we have two beautiful women who are in the industry. They've been doing a lot around baking and cake making. We have Sholape Bamijoko, who is the country representative, International Cake Exploration Society. Welcome to the studio. We also have Linda Atute. Did I get that right? Right. Linda Atute is the publicity secretary of the Abuja Liaison International Cake Exploration. So for the 16th time, you have been celebrating the the Nigerian National Cake Expo, and this year it is coming to Abuja, the FCT. That seems to be your turf. So congratulations for all of us hosting this cake expo. We grew up having our parents casually make it as if it was seamless. You know, it's your birthday, your mother will just whip something up. Do we still have parents like that? Let's get to basis. Are we losing this skill? Is it becoming something only a certain individuals do?
We're not losing this skill, because if you look at it, you conduct a survey, most of us started as home bakers. Most of us started as hobby bakers. The result of our products as hobby bakers, as home bakers, is probably what translated into a business.
Right.
When you bake a cake for your family and they enjoy it, they comment, they like it, you know, and they even encourage you to go to the next level to turn it into a business. So we're not losing touch. We are still very much in line. So you still find today people are determined, I'm going to make my own wedding cake, I'm going to make my own birthday cake, you know, and from there, when they do, you see people admiring their handwork, and they discover, oh, actually, this is a talent I have. And before you know it, it's transformed into a business.
Now let's talk about this business aspect. Are young people interested to join? Because above everything, when we keep recording 40-something% unemployment rate, and you say unemployment, there are skills you too can learn and probably even export with the global contemporary media that we have. I mean, I really loved cake shows, cake competitions and all that. I used to even attend cake exhibitions here in the FCT. That's something I personally love. So how can we, you know, harness the potentials in this skill and ensure that young people know they can make money from this?
Yeah, for International Cake Exploration Society, we've done a lot. And it shows in the number of people in this organization. FCT alone, we are more than 350 as members, and we are still having more people coming in because we are on social media, we are on all the social media handles, all the programs we run are there. And a lot of young people get so engrossed and interested, starting from our own direct family members. We are members of the organization. You know, so a lot of us have academies, and young people are those that are in those academies who come to learn the arts of cake making. So it is not just we are touching lives, we are touching a lot of young people, and we have a lot of young ones in this organization. We that elderly are kind of shifting base and transferring what we have learned over the years, and that's what the essence of this cake show. We are really bringing it down to the grass with a lot of people to attend. That's why we are advertising it, we are publicizing it, talking to people about it. If all the jingles we've had and we've put up is actually to bring in even the common man on the streets. Our women were in the marketplaces advertising this show to let people know that we want them to come on board and know that this is an art where they can make money and sustain their familyhood.
How would you say the reception has been? I mean, for those of you who also have cake academies where people come to learn, how is the reception? Are you seeing younger children or parents bringing in children, and do you see a follow-up, enthusiastic follow-up towards really getting skilled?
Yes, we see them even at secondary school level. Young children, teenagers, especially during the summer like this, you see them coming to your cake place to learn because they're interested. You know, one of the beautiful things about cake making is that it's an art. It requires a flair. So when you see the young ones that are interested, that have the flair, you're able to identify them. And like my colleague has rightly said, we can harness that talent. So we actually are seeing them, and regardless of the age, even students in junior secondary, we take them on for training. Children in senior secondary, because we believe that it's good to start early.
Right.
Yes, to imbibe the talent in them, so that by the time they grow to young adults, they already know the line they want to toe.
So I expect, I mean, I'm listening to you talk about the Cake Expo, I expect there's going to be innovative conversations around the industry and all that. But let me not preempt it. You tell me, you tell me what the Cake Expo is all about.
Oh, our Cake Expo is a national event because we have the organization is spread over a lot of states. We have more than 12 states that have International Cake Exploration Society embedded there. So this is a national event, and it encompasses a lot of activities. We'll be having classes where young bakers can come and learn new ideas.
Oh.
But every year,
how long is it?
it's just 2 days.
Oh, okay, so
there are a lot of cake tips because the industry is innovative. Every year, new ideas comes in, so we bring them on board. So there are going to be classes going on. The show will be on. We have vendors all over the country, even international. They'll be coming to display new equipments, new items in decorating that makes work very easy. So it's a place every cake maker should be, because this is only where you will get it. We have rock bottom prices, vendors that are going to bring in items. You'll be able to buy things you can't see in the ordinary market. So young bakers, even those that have not even started, if they come to this show, in fact, the interest will double, because they will see a lot of all the baby cake names they hear on TV and all that. They'll be seeing them in this event because they'll be there. They will all be in attendance, and we'll be having all the board of trustees, all the executives, organization. They will all be on ground. They've already arrived. So it's a national wonderful event, and we'll be having cake displays. You see sugar arts that is unimaginable.
Right.
What sugar can do. In fact, there will be a lot of displays of different arts from different cake makers, both in Abuja and from other states across the country. So it's an event that is so packed that even 2 days is like we are even
it's
just
too short.
But we try and make it because we know people don't have time. So we want it to be very packed. So when you come, you have to be choosing where do I need to put my interests when you get to the hall. So it's quite encompassing.
Have something to add to what you say?
Yes, in addition, you know, to show that we are actually interested also in bringing up the younger generation, we have invited a number of schools, and we're going to also expect them at the event tomorrow. So we have classes that will be going on, showcasing the latest trend of what is happening in the cake industry. So usually bakers and associates, when they hear about the Cake Expo, they don't like to miss it. And of course, for the 2 days, you are eating cake. From morning to night, for the 2 days, you are eating cake, and for free.
For free, you say? Yes. Now that takes the conversation, that makes the conversation interesting. So, should I decide to go for this Cake Expo? It's free.
Absolutely.
The Cake Expo, there's a gate fee. There's a registration fee.
Okay.
Because usually the way it used to be done over the years is that those classes are paid for. If you're attending those classes, you are going to pay for them. But now with sponsorship, with support, all the classes are free.
Free. How much is the entry fee?
The entry is 15,000 naira.
Okay.
So all you need to do is pay the entry fee, and then you get access to 2 days classes for free. What people pay thousands of naira to go and learn, you get it for free. Yes, you have access to buy at very cheap prices because vendors from all over Nigeria are going to be there, and then you have access to win freebies.
Oh, okay. There's going to be
there are going to be freebies because we have promotional items donated to us by sponsors, and then there's going to be a competition on the second day where people are going to win as much as 500,000 naira.
Wow,
that is our own support.
That's the part I want to really come for.
The second day.
500,000 seems like something I need.
So the competition of 3 in a team, you know. So that is our own support back into the cake industry.
Right. That's very interesting. But let's move a bit away from the conversation around the expo and talk about health. A lot of awareness has been around health. Has that affected the industry where it seems like everybody is a doctor these days? Oh, avoid flour, it might not be so good for your health. Has that really affected the industry? And are there more healthier ways of baking where people are not necessarily it doesn't affect your health so much?
In recent times, I've had opportunity to make cakes for diabetic patients.
Oh, okay, good.
So over the years, we have done our research and development. Recipes have emerged for people in the category either watching their weight or watching their cholesterol, or who are diabetic. They can also be part of the fun. And you know, usually most celebrations are not every day. They are usually like once a year, thereabouts. Yeah. So if you are having your special day and you want your cake for once a year, that does not negate the healthy living you are supporting. And in any case, you're having a whole cake. You're not the only one that's going to eat
the whole cake. That's true. That's true. But for some of us who are addicted to it, like somewhat, because I really love cakes. You can't go wrong with cakes for me.
That is why we have a variety of recipes. It's so, in fact, it's uncountable. There are recipes that are so uncountable. You can have cakes without sugar. Depends on, like my country rep has said, if you want a cake without sugar, you'll have it. Like she's doing, we've done those for health purposes. There are cakes, like you don't use sugar, we use honey. There's honey cake. So that's why there are recipes to suit people's taste buds and suit their health purposes. And also we normally know in events, cakes are not eaten in lumps. It's just a bite or 2 bites. So you hardly have a function where you see people eating cakes in lumps. It's not supposed to be eaten lump for it comes in bites, or you have them in dessert forms and all that. So it's an industry that is a no, I cannot do without.
Exactly.
Because the sugar, children should eat sugar because it's good for their energy. They need it. So actually, when we talk of sweets, we talk of children. So when we are advertising cakes, we start with children. Because if you are doing a cake for a family, the children don't love the cake, you are in trouble.
Then they're in trouble. That's true. That's true. So another aspect I would like us to look at is the aspect of inflation. It seems like everything is going up right now, and cakes that usually you could do easily, people are unable to afford they have become so expensive. Somebody told me how much they paid for their wedding cake, and I was amazed. That used to be the budget for the entire wedding. And now that's what you're paying for just cakes. How is the industry thriving with this? Is it because is it that you have just found out how important you are to us and now you're expensive? What is going on? Cakes are now more expensive than weddings.
Well, the beautiful thing about this is that it's an economic issue. It's not a cake issue.
Okay.
The rice you used to buy at maybe 40,000 naira is hitting 100,000 now.
True.
So it's not just a cake issue. It's a phase in our life as a nation, which we are hoping will soon come out from. So, but the truth is that the same way in your celebration, you can still afford to give people rice. I've not gone to a celebration and they will not give us food that because of economy. That is called budgeting. You know, so people are applying themselves to be in line with the economic situation. So cake is not an exception. So they are also aligning themselves to also be in that. And of course, an occasion or a celebration without a cake is just a meeting.
You say so.
It's just a meeting. So that is an integral part of every celebration.
Right. Not just some meeting, but if you call it a celebration, it just has to have cake.
The only thing you can probably do is to probably reduce the size
of the economy.
You understand?
But there has to be cake.
But there has to be a cake in your celebration. To make it meaningful, to make it memorable, there has to be a cake.
So would you say that this inflation has affected your industry, and what would you like to see moving forward, being that if you can't have a celebration without a cake? So what would you like to see as in terms of policies that to just make it easier so that some of us can afford birthday cakes to our children?
Like my country rep has said, it's the economy is general. The issue now, everyone works with the budget. Like what we cake makers say is, when you call for a cake, we ask you, what is your budget? Because when we give you the cost, of course it will scare you. It has not, the only way it has affected the industry is just us now working on the preference of our clients. Taking our clients' orders and understanding what they can afford and work with that. But we, as in ISIS, we are very careful to maintain standard. We will not drop standard because the economy is not profitable or things are expensive. We don't encourage that. We only tell the client, please just do what your money can afford. Yes, it has affected our industry kind of, because of course the cost of materials have of course increased.
Exactly.
But what we are still saying, even with the other bakers to other organizations that are into the same industry, we also try and talk to the companies that are providing us with our raw materials to try and assist us and ensure that they are not inflating out of Durex and let us have it as it's supposed to be. And they shouldn't need to go and start substituting those products because those are the things that will affect our industry. If someone takes a cake and the person comes back and the cake is not like what they used to have, it's going to affect us more than if it's smaller and it's still the same taste. We'll still have them coming back. So that's what we are trying. Even where the economy is harsh, they should give us the quality of products that we've been having. Okay. It should not be substandard, because for cake you cannot substitute. You can't afford to have substandard products in making the cakes, because you have it affecting the cake. It will go bad on time, and the clients will complain, and it's not going to come out the same taste as it used to be.
Exactly.
It's like, for instance, you are using eggs and you now say, because of the economy, I want to reduce the eggs. You won't get the same quality. You won't get the same fluffiness in your cake. So those are the things we cannot afford to drop anything when it comes to cake making. We only plead with the companies to keep the standard and give us the price at which we can afford it. The worst that comes is that we are going to be worse hit will buy at more expensive rate, and the customers will also buy and have to order at more prices, higher prices.
So, country director, madam.
Yes, well.
I mean, when you watch international cake shows, I watch them a lot. Why have we not gotten there yet? As per those competitions, top bakers, I can think of just a few, but why do we not have that vibrant industry where there are competitions, just for entertainment maybe, but also to spotlight their potentials in the industry?
Well, I must confess that the cake industry in Nigeria is doing a lot, but it's only when it comes to the limelight that you know.
But that it needs to come to the limelight.
Yes, that's what I'm explaining to you. The countries, the shows abroad they are talking about, I mean, we have been privileged to attend such shows, and we are privy to know what it costs to set up such shows. You know, for now, we are not having such. In this climb, when you approach people to sponsor your show, they look at it, cake. They push it aside. They are not interested in the sponsorship because they have not seen the value. Abroad, they see so much value in it.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
So for us to get to this level you're talking about in our nation, we need support, and not just ordinary support, massive support. You know, I will mention name here because we're on TV, but you see some of these companies supporting soccer. When you approach them to support cake, they say we don't do that because they don't see the value. So until we get to that level as a nation, when we are ready to support this industry,
what would redirect our focus to start?
What will redirect our focus will be orientation, which we're doing a lot of orientation, you know, pushing ourselves in people's faces, in companies' faces, which we're trying to do, and we're hoping that eventually we would get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you now: are there professionals certified to do cake? Because if you notice, there's been that trend on social media, what I ordered versus what I got. So you see a beautiful picture of a cake you wanted, and when the baker brings the cake, you're like, this cannot be what I ordered. I mean, how did it get this bad? So are there is there a certification that will give people confidence that, okay, this person wants to bake my wedding cake, I cannot afford to have it botched, so I need to verify that this is certified?
You know, we're working on central certification as an association.
Okay.
But as individuals, as individual cake makers in our association, we have people who are certified. I have done PMA to the master's level in cake.
PMA?
Yes, yes. She has also, you know, so we have some people have done wilting. We have different certifications individually.
What is PMA?
That is an educational, yes, an organization, foreign one that organizes cake trainings.
Okay.
Trainings and
Yes, and certifies you.
Internationally.
Course 1, course 2, course 3, then you do your masters.
Yeah.
So we have those certificates to showcase in our confines. So, but we're trying to have something that to be centralized, where, just like you said, before anybody contracts anybody, you know that the person is a member of this organization, and by virtue of being a member of this organization, has gone through this certification.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What I ordered versus what I got, like I always tell people, somebody sent me a picture, and I told her this picture is a broad picture. She was laughing.
But what does that mean?
I'm trying to explain to you some things it means.
Okay.
The products there at times vary from what we have here. The environment there varies from the environment we have here.
Okay.
And a number of other things.
Okay, but let's talk about the product first.
As a baker, you should explain to your clients. Some of the decorative items cannot be found in this client. It is found there. So you should explain to your client. That is one of your responsibilities.
Okay.
When people bring pictures like that, explain to them. You know, don't expect exact copy and paste if it's not possible. And personally, I don't even encourage copy and paste because it doesn't bring out the creativity in me. When you bring me a picture, I expect to give you something better than the picture you brought. Because copy and paste does not bring out the creativity in any baker. So you shouldn't just, there's some certain agreements, terms and conditions you need to give your clients, so that at the end of the day, both of you are home and dry. There won't be issues.
Yeah, and in addition to what my boss has said, certification is per individual baker. Now we go out. That's why ISIS is a body. That when I talk of standard, we have standard bakers there, because we originated from an international body. So we have international standard as our basics in anything we are doing. That's why a cake expo is a place for people to come. You really see creativity. You see names of bakers, reckoned bakers in Abuja and beyond. You know, seeing the cake arts as a different thing. So when you come to an organization, at least if you see a cake maker and is an ISIS member, you know it's an organization. So if you don't get what you want, you know where to channel it to. Yes, so it's a standard organization. And apart from that, we are all encouraged as members of ISIS to attend international programs and international academies, so that we learn better. And when we bring tools to our cake expo, we demonstrate how to use those tools, so that you find every year we are improving and we are getting better. Now, where clients have it, you get a photograph and you meet a cake maker and say, I want exactly this. It's like you want a shoe and you go to the market, you're looking for this exact shoe. You know, it takes some time. So that person that is looking for that thing should be sure he has seen what the baker has been doing. Exactly. Yeah. So you can't go to a shop. You go into and buy an Italian shoe, and you go to an Abba shop and you're looking for that kind of shoe. Yes, exactly. So it's not going to be, because of course in the industry we don't downplay anyone. An upcoming baker is different from a baker who has been in business for more than 30 years. Moreover, with art, everything you know is translated according to how you see it, right? So it's just an advice. So you don't go and look for my auntie that is just beginning and say, bake my wedding cake, and you expect her to do what? But they too sometimes don't even tell you, I'm just beginning.
And on a lighter note, the picture you have brought, the person may have spent millions to make that cake, and you are offering peanuts, and you want the person to give you the same thing. But I mean, you should expect some magic along the line.
Exactly. However, as a professional, maybe that's the conversation we should have. Be professional in this, and tell them it will cost you this to achieve this, instead of telling them, I can do that,
and you are not running. And you expect to still see that same thing. The person may have spent a lot of money to get that particular design, because of the things that will be incorporated in it, and the person is now charging you, or you are offering a very paltry sum. And you should expect some substitutions along the line. So that's what happens.
So let's go back to this expo. We would finally get to discuss where it is happening, when it is happening, how one can be part of it, who should be part of it, and all those conversations. So where do I go? Okay, maybe my country director. Country director.
The show, like you said, is a 2-day program, taking place on Wednesday, 9th October, and Thursday, 10th October. The time is 9 a.m. daily. You don't want to sit at the back. You want to be in the very front to see And the venue is Peach Vine Event Center in Wuye. You know, there's a new Wuye bridge that our honorable minister has fixed for us. So it's very
easy, and with less traffic.
Less traffic, less stress. Exactly. So, and it's a very big event place. Peach Vine Event Center, Wuye. Very accessible to people coming in from Berger area 1, you know. Very accessible. Jabi Utako, very accessible.
Okay, so who should attend? Do I need to be an enthusiast, the cake enthusiast to attend?
Who should attend? The beautiful thing about International Cake Exploration Society is that we have room for all categories of bakers. Right. Just like she said, if you're a beginner, you're in the intermediary, you're a professional, we have classes that cuts across. So as long as you can identify flour, sugar, you should attend. Right. Yeah, that's right. An enthusiast, you want to generate interest for yourself or your children, you can come. Cake lover, cake eater like yourself, you can come there.
They must visit place. Yeah.
Okay.
People who having accessory products, tools, you can
Okay.
come.
Yes, those who sell those tools. If you have a shop and you sell baking tools, it's a beautiful place to come because
So
you
there's
buy,
an exhibition as well.
yes, for the vendors. So you can patronize the vendors and buy rock bottom prices, tools and equipment you can't get in the market. You can't get, yes, a lot of, we have, okay, for instance, there are some glitters, some finishing we do on cakes. Those items, if you get to a shop in Abuja, you will go around like 10 shops, you won't get one.
In fact,
Wow.
the secret,
Yeah.
I buy my stock at
At
Cake
the
Expo.
Cake Expo. So it's
I target Cake Expos and I stock up.
most big bakers, that's what they, because if they don't buy here, they can't get it. They either import, because most of the vendors, they import some of these items too.
Wow.
So, but they buy in bulk,
So
and therefore they can use it for them, because they are into really sales of these products. So they buy in bulk. But if you have to go and buy as a single baker, it's going to cost you more. So the Cake Expo, you get them at a very good rates.
And our theme for this year is the beauty of
Africa.
So there are going to be lots of cakes on display, beautifying Africa. So we also expect ambassadors, diplomats, of African countries and beyond to be on ground, to come and see what Africa is all about in cake.
So
what sugar can do to Africa. So we're going to be having beautiful cakes on display, showcasing Africa. So we expect government officials, parastatals, diplomats to be in attendance to come and see what cake makers can do
with sugar
depicting Africa.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So you conveniently did not speak about the part where some of us will live with cakes.
Yes, like I said, we're having cakes given to people throughout the events, and then we're going to have cakes packaged for our guests.
Okay.
Our sponsors, our media personnel that will be on ground. You can be rest assured that we are having your cake packages
with different flavors.
Machinery is already in motion to bring as many cake as possible to that event. So be rest assured that you are going home with a cake.
Okay. I mean, that's really exciting. That the possibility of me going home with a cake as a media person, it's really nice. And for others at home who are listening to us right now, you have an opportunity to come learn one or two things. Now you know there's one more skill you can learn to contribute to society and yourself. Thank you, ladies, for being part of this. It has been really wonderful. But before I let you go, are there final thoughts you would like to share on this matter?
Okay, I would like to tell us that parents out there, while your kids are on holidays, try and expose them to such beautiful skills like cake making, confectionaries, because it's a home meal. It's something you will always have in your home. You must have parties, you must organize birthdays. So these things are must have in the home. So if you have a child who loves such things, you don't have to spend so much money getting a baker. So please try and encourage your children, even those in the university, to love the art, especially the girls. If she gets married, she must make a cake for her husband. She must make cakes for her children. She must make cake for the family. And at least, even when they are getting married, she can also bake their wedding cakes. I made my wedding cake. So it's something that must be in the home. Have a baker in the home, and you spend less.
Okay, that's a good one. Is there something you two would like to add?
We would like as many people as can join us in this 2-day event to be part of it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for being part of the program as well. It has been wonderful getting to discuss cake and what cake can do in Africa, for Africa, by Africans. So that's interesting. So we have been discussing the celebrating the beauty of the African heritage. We have been discussing with Sholape Bamijoko. She's the country representative, International Cake Exploration Society. Thank you for being part of the program. We also had Linda Atute, Publicity Secretary, Abuja Liaison of the International Cake Exploration Society. Ladies, thank you very much. More grease to your elbow. I wish you all the strength in your endeavors, and I hope this program is as successful as you wish it to be. Thank you again.
Thank you, Madam Presenter. We look forward to seeing you at the show.
Rest assured, I will be there.
Thank you.
So it's time to join the Investment Plus segment that gives us those very important financial management tips. Remember, I always tell you, we are at that point in our country where every good financial tip is welcomed. How to save, how to invest, all of that, Investment Plus has got you. We'll be back after that.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Investment Plus. Today we're going to talk about 3 life-changing secrets to achieving wealth and riches. Secret number 1 is mindset mastery. Yes, your mindset is the foundation upon which wealth is built. It actually starts from inside. Now picture this. Imagine a beautiful skyscraper. Before its construction, architects will meticulously plan every detail, ensuring a solid foundation. Your mindset works exactly the same way. It is the foundation for anything you're going to build on the top of that. So you have to learn to cultivate a positive and abundant mindset. If you don't think it's possible to create wealth, it's never going to happen for you. Right in the middle of economic challenges, people can have different experiences. So you must embrace the belief that you deserve financial success as well as and watch your dreams manifest into reality. Secret number 2 is smart savings and investing. Smart saving and investing. You need to invest wisely. You have to start by creating a budget and stick to it. You know, on every episode we emphasize the need for you to live on a plan. And that's because of its importance. You have to create a budget, stick to it. The key is discipline. Discipline is adjusting your lifestyle to reaching your goals. So you have to cut unnecessary expenses and redirect those funds into your investments that will generate passive income for you. You have to keep your learning also up about stocks, real estate, and other avenues that can help you to create wealth. Remember, small, consistent steps can lead to extraordinary results. Now, the number 3 secret is to create multiple streams of income. I could never stop emphasizing this particular key because it's actually very important. Now, research has it that millionaires in dollars, have 7 streams of income minimum. And you know what the ultra wealthy have? Hundreds and hundreds streams. There is no way you want to create wealth with just that salary. The truth is that salary, a portion of it has to be working to create other sources of income for you. So you can't rely on a single income source. It's like trying to balance on a tightrope without a safety net. You imagine all these people in the circus and there's no safety net where they can easily fall to and be safe. So we have untapped potential as a country and there are endless opportunities in this country. So you must embrace that power of diversification. You have to explore side businesses, start something small in your corner. If your work takes most of your time and this doesn't exactly mean leave your work and go start your thing. Trust me, it always looks greener on the other side. The business owners too are not finding it funny. So stay with your job, but let your income create other sources for you. A sizable portion of it should go into creating something else that brings you income consistently. And this can take time, so it is best for you to start right now. By creating multiple streams of income, you fortify your financial fortress and unlock the door to lasting prosperity. And that's it on this episode today. The secrets to wealth and riches. Number 1 is to master your mindset. If you don't have an abundant mindset about wealth, about possibility for success financially, it's not going to happen. And then smart saving and investing is the number 2 key. And of course, creating multiple streams of income. But remember, the journey isn't an overnight thing. You can't become an overnight success. It's about small steps, it's about daily commitments, and the unwavering belief that you can and will achieve financial freedom. Now, before I go, let me share another bonus secret with you. You have to, on the journey to creating wealth, surround yourself with like-minded individuals who share your passion for building wealth. So you join communities, attend workshops, find mentors who have already walked the path so they can show you the path. They always ask me on TV shows that, okay, do you think there's a shortcut to success? And I say, yes, it's by learning from other people. Someone has gone the path, learn how they did it and go so you don't have to make the same mistake. So together, we can uplift each other and create a legacy of wealth for generations to come. So as we wrap up, I'd like to urge you to take action. If you implement the secrets of life starting right now, you begin to create wealth for yourself. Thank you for watching today. That's it on the episode. See you next time. Bye for now.
I hope you enjoyed those tips that were shared, because I mean, I for one would now I've learned more about financial responsibility. But it has been a wonderful edition today, talking about the newspaper review and then the exposure, the potentials in cake. Who would have known? Thank you so much for being part of the program. I am Joy Asoye. Have a wonderful, productive day. We'll be back tomorrow with so much more.